Adrian Cole sat at a sidewalk cafe in the late afternoon sun reviewing acquisition documents on his tablet. The soft glow of the screen, a stark contrast to the warm golden light bathing the Parisian street. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? As CEO of Cole Enterprises, he was rarely truly off-duty, even on a Saturday. The weight of a potential multi-million euro merger resting on his shoulders, even amidst the clatter of coffee cups and the gentle murmur of weekend conversations. The smell of freshly ground coffee and buttery pastries filled the air, a sensory delight he was too preoccupied to notice. "Excuse me, is anyone sitting here?" The voice, laced with a tentative hope, broke through his concentration. He looked up to find a woman gesturing to the empty chair across from him. She was elegant in a simple cream blouse and a tailored tan skirt, her blonde hair catching the light like a halo, yet her eyes held a storm of uncertainty. "It's all yours," Adrian said, his tone polite but dismissive as he returned his attention to the glowing screen. A fortress of numbers and legal jargon. The woman sat down but didn't order, her hands clasped tightly on the small table. Instead, she seemed to be gathering courage for something, her posture rigid, her gaze fixed on the far horizon before settling back on him. Adrian could feel her watching him, a palpable tension radiating from her stillness, a silent plea hanging in the space between them. "I'm sorry," she finally said, her voice lower now, strained. "This is going to sound insane, but I need to ask you something." Something in her delivery, the raw honesty of that preface, made Adrian set down his tablet, the screen dimming as he gave her his full attention. "I'm listening," he said, his CEO persona shifting into one of curious engagement. "My ex-fiancé is getting married in 3 weeks, she began, the words tumbling out in a rush. "I was invited. I shouldn't go, but I feel like I need to for closure. The problem is showing up alone makes me look pathetic. Everyone will be there, our old friends, his family, my family, all wondering why I'm still single while he's moved on, pitying me, whispering about the one he left behind. So you want me to be your date to your ex's wedding?" Adrian clarified, a single eyebrow arching. Not in judgment, but in genuine surprise at the direction of the conversation. "I know it's crazy," she admitted, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. "But you look successful and put together, and I'm desperate. I'll pay you for your time, $1,000 for one afternoon. You just have to show up, look reasonably attentive, and help me get through it with some dignity intact." Adrian should have said no. He had a dozen valid reasons. He didn't know this woman from a stranger on the metro. He had a towering inbox, a board meeting on Monday, and the Meridian presentation to finalize. The entire situation was strange at best, a potential scandal at worst. But something in her expression stopped him. The vulnerability, masked by forced confidence, the pride struggling against a deep, familiar hurt. He recognized that look. He'd seen it in the mirror years ago, in the aftermath of his own very public, very painful betrayal. It was the look of someone determined to rewrite a narrative they never intended to be part of. "What's your name?" he asked, his voice softer now. Elena Sinclair." "Adrian Cole," he replied. "And I don't need your money, Elena, but I'll do it under one condition." "What condition?" she asked, her eyes widening with a mix of hope and wariness. "You tell me the real reason you're going to this wedding, because closure is therapy language. What's the actual reason?" The directness of his question seemed to startle her, and Elena's composure cracked slightly, her carefully constructed calm giving way to something more visceral. "I want him to see that I'm okay," she whispered, her gaze dropping to her hands. "That leaving me didn't break me, even though it did a little. For 3 years I planned a future with him. I imagined the China pattern, the names of our children, the house by the sea. He called it off 2 months before the wedding with a 5-minute phone call. I want to walk in there with someone who makes me look like I've moved on, like I'm thriving. Someone who makes him question just for a second if he made a mistake. Is that pathetic?" Adrian was silent for a moment, watching the play of emotion across her face. "It's human," he said finally. We all want to be seen as okay, especially by the people who've hurt us. The need to prove our resilience, to show that the wound they inflicted has healed into a scar we carry. Proudly, it's a universal ache. So you'll do it, really? She asked, disbelief mingling with dawning relief. Really? Adrian confirmed with a small, decisive nod. Give me the details and I'll be there. Elena looked stunned, as if she had prepared for rejection and was now disarmed by acceptance. Just like, that? You don't want to know anything else about me? What I do, if I'm a serial killer, if this is some elaborate scam? A genuine smile touched Adrian's lips for the first time. I assume you'll tell me what I need to know before the wedding? The ex's name, the venue, the story we'll tell about how we met, but yes, just like that. Sometimes the craziest requests come from the most genuine needs. He saw the gratitude flood her eyes. A sheen of unshed tears, she quickly blinked away. They exchanged numbers, a simple transaction that felt oddly significant. Elena promised to send him all the details about the wedding, the key people involved, and the backstory they'd craft. She stood, smoothing her skirt, looking somehow both lighter and more nervous than when she arrived. Thank you, Adrian. You have no idea what this means to me, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Then she was gone, melting into the Saturday crowd. A woman on a mission with a newfound, if unconventional, ally. The moment her presence faded, the bubble of the unusual encounter popped, and the real world came crashing back in. His tablet lit up with an incoming call from his assistant, Mia. Where are you? We have the Meridian presentation to finalize. Her voice was crisp, efficient, and slightly impatient through the speaker. I'm aware, Adrian replied, his gaze still fixed on the spot where Eleanor had been sitting, the ghost of her confession lingering in the air. I'll be there in 20 minutes. You sound distracted, Mia observed, her tone sharpening with concern. Is everything all right? Adrian collected his tablet, tucked it into his briefcase, and left a few euros on the table for the coffee he never finished. Everything is fine, he said, more to himself than to her. I just agreed to do something unexpectedly human. As he walked back to his office, the meticulously ordered blocks of his schedule reshuffling in his mind to accommodate a wedding in 3 weeks, he realized the strange request felt less like an inconvenience and more like an intriguing diversion, a chance to step into a story far removed from boardrooms and balance sheets, a narrative driven purely by the messy, compelling need of the human heart to heal in the light of a former lover's gaze, and to do so with a borrowed strength and the appearance of a grace that was, for now, just a performance waiting to be staged. Thank you for watching this story. If you enjoyed this tale of unexpected connection and human vulnerability, please show your support for our channel for more heartfelt narratives and stories that explore the kindness we find in strangers. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Your support helps us share more light